This is Brennan Jorgensen, aka Jorgy, and you are watching Fade the Mahoney podcast. Today we have a huge playoff series preview between the DBacks and the Eagles. We'll talk about it. I'll be giving out my red hot lock of the week. I'm 3-1 now, about to be 4-1. Stay tuned.
Hey, welcome back to yet another edition of Fade the Mahoney. We're going to preview Diamondbacks versus I still don't have any Eagles shirts. So Diamondbacks versus Eagles, divisional round series. We are joined once again by our special guest correspondent, MLW superstar and former World Series champion, Brendan Jorgensen, aka Jorgy. How you doing, Jorgy?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing? It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're on the show all the time because you're red hot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Mike. Over here is Trevor. Trevor, how are you?
Excellent.
All right. We're going to preview the series, and we're going to do a little bit of gambling. Our promise to you folks watching this, we're going to try to make these a little bit shorter so you guys can fit them into your day. So real quick, I just want to give a shout out. Thank you to our recent guests. Jackson was really good. The King was really good. Brennan was really good. Cheatham, Tatum, all really good. Excellent guests. Thank you for coming on. Go buy some jerseys, everybody. This one. Go buy it. All right, Trevor, we're going quick. What do we think today? Previewing Diamondbacks, Eagles. Who's favored? How much?
Yeah, so we have a rematch here of a series during the regular season that the Diamondbacks swept. And, I thought long and hard about this number, and I thought about what the people would like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is going to blow everybody's mind a little bit, but the 5-10 Diamondbacks are favored in this series, and they are minus 125. I think when you have the best player in the series, playoff Jimmy, I think you just have to make them the favorites. We've seen the issues. We don't know what the Eagles are going to do with their lineup. Is a 5-man lineup something that's sustainable in the postseason? And if it's not, then do you just all of a sudden switch to something that you didn't do the entire season? I think we saw the issues there. Dallas, was hot in the beginning of the season pitching, cooled off a little bit. Who's going to pitch for them? Is it going to be Dallas? Is it going to be Daniel? What's their rotation going to look like? So I think you have all these question marks that make you think that the Diamondbacks have a really good chance of winning the series, and therefore I'm putting them as a favorite at minus 125.
This is insane. I was planning on having my biggest bet of the year on a plus number, and now you can't do it. All right, before we get to that, Jorgy, as someone who's faced all these players, a couple questions. Who's the best pitcher in the series?
I still think it's Dallas. He's struggled a little bit. Jimmy's weird because he'll have series where he can just be really good, but we did take him down, and I mean, he even tells us, like, me and Chris see Jimmy really good, but some other teams struggle. It depends what pitches he has working that day. But I mean, people are starting to come on to Dallas a little bit, but it's still kind of his first year of his breakout. Like, I wouldn't factor that in too much. Like, usually, like myself, like, my pitching has kind of gone down over the last 3 years. But that's over 3 years. This is still Dallas's like first year being an ace, being a dominant pitcher. So I still think he's the best in this series. But Jimmy's close behind, and so is Dan.
Trevor, do you agree with Jorgy's opinion there? If you had to put the ball in one person's hand, who would you put it in?
I mean, from a stuff perspective, I love Dallas's stuff. I think he probably has the best movement of these guys and the best control overall, consistency probably. But I'm still going to go with Jimmy in this case, where if I want somebody to go out there and get me a win, I'm going to put the ball in Jimmy's hands.
Yeah, see, like, that's kind of a different question from what I was saying. If you were to ask me, like, on my team, who I'd want pitching in the playoffs for me, it'd probably be Jimmy because he did it last year. We saw him go through. I mean, he had help from Jonah, but he basically led them to World Series last year, and that's something that Dallas hasn't done yet. So if you were talking who I want to put the ball in my team's hand in the playoffs, I'd go Jimmy. But most talented right now, I still think is Dallas.
All right. Well, those of you who watched last week's preview show and you saw the draft that Trevor and I did for the World Series champion, you'll know my thoughts. I actually drafted the Diamondbacks over the Eagles. I'll take the two teams that aren't the Eagles.
Okay. And I'll take the Eagles, obviously.
So, having said that, Trevor, I'll lay the 125.
All right, fine.
All right.
Yep, sounds good. I got a question for Jorgy.
Okay.
If you are the Eagles manager, what would be your approach with pitching? You just start Dallas game 1, and if you like, what's the plan there? See how he looks, and then decide what to do in game 2.
I think I would just not even like see how he looks. I'd go Dallas 1, no matter what happens. If he wins or loses, Dan 2, and then maybe you can evaluate if Dallas loses and gets hammered and Dan pitches really well, then he could start in game 3. But I think for sure I'd go Dallas 1, Dan 2. That's kind of what the Gators did against the Eagles last year in the NLDS. Is we kind of did. Chris won game 1. He pitched really well, shut him out. But then I still won game 2. But they got the win off me. But they didn't see Chris for a while between game 1 and 3, so Chris went back out there for game 3, and we got the win.
All right, and then can we assume? Well, I assume the Diamondbacks will just have Jimmy throw every pitch possible. You think that's likely what's going to happen?
But I'm assuming Jimmy would be the main guy. Their alternate arms this year hasn't really been up to par like it was last year.
All right, so we've got a bet on the series. I'm laying 125 with my Diamondbacks. Again, we're not doing over-unders. We're not smart enough to figure out when we don't know how many games are going to be played. Maybe we'll figure it out in the near future. Jorgy, I need you to raise one of your hands up right now. Don't think. Raise a hand up. Why do they always pick the right hand, Trevor? Why?
Hey, Mike, I'll let you pick first. I had a big advantage last week. You pick first this week.
All right, I'll take James.
Yeah, it's fair. I think that's the fair thing to do. I had a big advantage last week, so you should have the advantage this week and take your boy.
Fair play. I appreciate it.
I've actually thought about this for the last 10 minutes, which is more than I thought about anything for the last couple weeks. So I was trying to figure out who I was going to take, and I'm not going to take Dallas. I'm actually going to take Daniel, because here's my thought. I think if the Eagles win this series, I think it's because Dan carries them in some way. Pitching, hitting, both. I think maybe both, actually. I think Dan has to carry them to victory. And I think the way that I see it is, I think the Eagles lose game 1. I think Dan pitches game 2. I think he's dominant, hits a big home run, and then pitches game 3, and then see from there. So I think Dan ends up actually pitching 2 out of 3 games, and that's the way that I'm going to roll with it.
Wow. You had the choice to select the league's leading hitter and the guy who, according to Jorgy, has the best stuff, and you chose not to. That is some next level.
Listen, you know how much I love Dallas. We talked about it from the preseason on. This is just a field play, gut instincts.
I like that. I think Dan's the X factor, so I agree.
All right. So Trevor and I, we got 2 bets on the series. 100. I'm laying 125 to win 100 on the DBacks, and then we have 100 each on the ladder ranking from Joey at MLW Stats on Instagram. So that's our action there. Anything else we want to talk about the series before we get into some NFL gambling real quick? Trevor, you got anything?
Nope.
Okay. How awesome is this series? Let's get excited.
Excited. Very excited.
Last series, not so good. This one should be pretty good. All right. We do some NFL betting every episode. Jorgy has made, what have you made? 4 picks so far?
Yes.
Jorgy, I'm not sure you've made a good pick yet, but somehow you're 3-1. He's 3-1, Trevor.
Then those are good picks.
That's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I feel like this is just some variance happening, right? That's all it can be.
Both he and the Edonk had the Vikings last week, and if you look at the stats, ugh.
Got the win.
Yes, you got the win. All right, Jorgy, lay it on us. Are we going 4-1? What are we doing? What's the lock?
Maybe we'll see if we go 4-1. I'm still yet to pick a home team, so let's keep that up. Let's pick another road team. But this time I'm not picking a favorite. Usually I take the road favorite, but I honestly don't know why the Jags are favored against the Giants. Jags have been trending downwards the last couple of weeks. I mean, Trevor Lawrence doesn't look great, and the Giants have been just winning games, playing with a lot of heart. I like Brian Dable. I'm going to take the Giants to win, and they're +3, so I think they're going to win outright.
Giants +3. I'm going to have so much money on that game, Trevor.
Yes. I mean, you have to do the martingale approach to this. You just figure if somebody's picks are so bad, but they've they've won.
Mhm.
At some point they're going to lose, and that's when you really want to put the money in on it hard. So yeah, I'm going to probably put a couple thousand down on the Jags then.
Yeah, that one's easy. All right, that's Jorgy's pick. He's hot. Trevor, I'm going to talk with Edonk later to do our picks and get the survivor in. But while we've got you, we'll let you go first this week. You had something terrible. What did you have? You had the Saints.
I got screwed on that one.
That was actually pretty unlucky. You're 3-3 on the year. You're actually doing really, really well at 500. So what do you got this week?
I'm going to continue my theme of taking home teams that are getting points, and I'm going to go with the Niners getting 3 against I think it was 3, right? Against the Chiefs.
Yep, you got it. All right.
I would like to also clarify that I have watched about 26 minutes of football this entire season, so my picks have been great.
I'm probably at 26 hours, so.
We do need to give a shout out to Curdy, who gave 2 picks last week and somehow hit them both. Another instance.
Them friend boys know their stuff.
Yeah. All right.
As long as it's not cheat 'em.
Well, he's the one that wins the most money by far in betting, so.
That is very, very hard to believe.
I know, that's what people have told me, but.
That's going to do it for the first half. Let's get excited for this series. And then after this, we're into the League Championship Series, Final Four. So that'll be great. That's it. First half. Good gambling, everybody. Thanks, Jorgy.
Go Phillies.
No. Go Braves.
All right. And we're back with the Edonk to finish off our NFL coverage. To recap, Edonk was the only one who got one right last week. Again, as we talk with Jorgy, it was a terrible, terrible pick. And if you look at the stats, it's a joke that he won, but congratulations. You've climbed up to 2-3-1. I am 2-4. I'm bringing up the rear. Trevor's 3-3. On to week 7. Edonk, are you ready for your lock of the week?
I got one, yeah.
All right, lay it on me.
We're going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the awful Texans.
How do you make me happy? That's a perfect Edonk pick. All right.
Why?
Bad team laying a lot of points just because they're playing another bad team. It's right up your alley. But I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna take the Patriots and I'm gonna lay all them points. I think it's 8 because I suspect the Bears won't score. So all I need is the Patriots to score 9. So that's the way I'm gonna go.
The Bears. I don't know who's worse. The Bears or the Packers?
The Bears are worse. Did you just run somebody over? Just keep going. The Bears are worse. The Packers beat the Bears pretty handily, but they're both pretty bad. We have some mildly bad news in that Lucas is on a cruise somewhere without any cell phone coverage, but Edonk knows the mind and the ways of Lucas, so he has the ability to look at the schedule and tell us who Lucas would have taken. So go ahead, Edonk, give us the Lucas lock of the week. By the way, Lucas 1-4 so far this year. What do you got?
Lucas will be taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus. I mean, he would probably lay 15 if he could.
Yeah, that would definitely be a play he would make. What are they laying? They're in Carolina,
11?
laying 11. Yeah, that's definitely something he will do. All right, so we're gonna give him that. Edonk, we're still alive in our survivor pool. Worldwide, I don't know if you've been tracking it, approximately 95% of all survivor participants are out. You and I are still alive in our pretty big one. I double checked. It's like 23 dimes.
Okay.
Patriots are the play this week, right?
I don't know.
Could you see a scenario where the Bears win that game?
Is the Patriots quarterback coming back? I know he had an ankle thing.
Oh, I hope not.
Is he in?
I hope not.
Yeah, look, you hope he's not coming back?
No. Keep it going with that Zappy character. That guy knows what he's doing. No turnovers, nice and easy. Just beat the crap out of the terrible team. No mistakes. All right, that's the plan. Before we say goodbye, are you locked and loaded with a dad joke of the week that we can actually broadcast to the public?
Why you couldn't broadcast the other one?
That's Edonk, everybody. Never watches the show. He has no idea what happened. There were some technical difficulties.
Why?
Do you have one?
Buy the Robles jersey, MLWmerch.com. Buy it twice. I can't.
Edit. All right. Next week we'll be back with the dad joke of the week. Say goodbye to the people, Edonk. Good gambling, everybody.
All right.
Say goodbye.
God bless.